Hello everyone. So here we are going to discuss in this sliding filament theory, and then after that we will discuss the questions related to the sliding filament theory. As we know, this topic is very much important regarding the NEET questions, okay? Because every time like one of the questions is going to be asked from this topic, and this topic we have more to learn. So basically sliding filament theory is the muscle contraction and relaxation condition and how this band, H zone, I band, A band works here, okay? So we are going to discuss about the sliding filament theory. Fine. Now we will move to the next page. See here, it's the part from the NCRT where it's written what? Mechanism of muscle contraction. Okay. So mechanism of muscle contraction is best explained by sliding filament theory, which states that the contraction of muscle fiber takes place by the sliding of thin filament over the thick filament. Okay. So for the concept purpose, you should remember the complete statement here. Okay. Yes, just we are going to underline this point like mechanism of muscle contraction is explained by the sliding filament theory. That is the contraction of a muscle fiber takes place by, see, the most important line is sliding of the thin filament over the thick filament. So basically the sliding is going to take place between the thin filament over the thick filament of the muscle. Okay. Now moving to the next page, what we will see, muscle contraction is initiated by a signal sent by the central nervous system via a motor neuron. So basically how this muscle contraction takes place. Okay. So for muscle contraction, there is a need of signal which is sent by the central nervous system. So we can just underline this point also. Initiated by a signal sent by the central nervous system, okay, via a motor neuron. Yeah, this line also we will write motor neuron. A motor neuron along with the muscle fiber connected to it constitute a motor unit. So basically the motor unit consisted of the motor neuron and the muscle fiber connected to it. So you can just underline this part also. Motor neuron along with the muscle fiber connected to it constitute a motor unit. The junction between a motor neuron and the sarcolemma of the muscle fiber is called as neuromuscular junction or motor end plane. So here what we will see, there is having a junction between a motor neuron and sarcolemma. Sarcolemma is what? The muscle tissue we can say. It is what? Muscle tissue we can write of the muscle fiber is called neuromuscular junction. So what we will do here, just underline this part. The neuromuscular junction comprises of the motor neuron and the sarcolemma of the muscle fiber. And this neuromuscular junction is also called as motor end plate. A neural signal reaching this junction release a neurotransmitter that is acetylcholine. Okay, so the signal that is just reaching this junction is what? The acetylcholine neurotransmitter, which generate an action potential in the sarcolemma. So basically this acetylcholine generates what? The action potential in the muscle tissue we can say. Okay. This is spread through the muscle fiber and cause the release of calcium ion into the sarcoplasm. So what happened with this transmission of the signal? The sarcolemma is being able to release the calcium ion into the sarcoplasm. So this muscle tissue just released the calcium ion into the sarcoplasm. Okay. Increase in calcium level lead to the binding of calcium with a subunit of troponin. Okay, now just focus on this line, this point that is saying increase in calcium level lead to the binding of calcium with a subunit of troponin on actin filament and thereby removing the masking of the active sites for myosin. So this is very important point. We will just mark it as an important one. Okay, so what happened when the sarcolemma tissue start releasing calcium ion into the sarcoplasm? There is an increased concentration of calcium level take place. Okay, so this increased calcium level lead to the binding of this calcium with a subunit of troponin. Troponin is also a protein unit. Okay, troponin on actin filament. So actin filament have this troponin. and this calcium just go bind to the troponin of on the actin filament and thereby remove the masking of the active sites for myosin. So with the binding of calcium to the actin filament, there is a exposure of the active sites of myosin take place. Okay. Utilizing the energy from ATP hydrolysis, the myosin head now bind to the exposed active site on the actin to form a cross bridge. So when the masking is just removed from the active sites from myosin, there comes a point like ATP hydrolysis will take place. Utilizing the energy from the ATP hydrolysis, the myosin head now bind to exposed active sites on actin to form a cross bridge. So when the masking will remove, the myosin is going to bind to the actin to form a cross bridge here. Okay, just underline this point. So this process is taking place. Now see this diagram. Actin filament is present, okay, and myosin filament is present. So when this actin filament just bind with the exposed site of the myosin, there what we are seeing here in this place, what we are seeing, the cross bridge formation is taking place, formation of a cross bridge, and sliding rotation is taking place. Now see here, the myosin head is in a straight portion, but after formation of a cross bridge, they will lead to the rotation here. So what we are seeing here with the ATP hydrolysis, this point, what is happening here? ATP hydrolysis is taking place in the form of ADP plus PI. Okay, 1-phosphate is being released from here. Now what we are seeing here, the sliding and the rotation is taken place. After that, when the rotation will take place, breaking of cross bridge will take place again. So when the breaking of cross bridge will take place, again this ADP, just this ADP converted into ATP by again this ADP plus PI converted into ATP, and breaking of cross bridge take place. Okay, so cross bridge formation is this and cross breaking of cross bridge is this. Okay, then what happened, the actin and myosin bond is just broken out and it will again undergo the masking process. Okay, so how this cross bridge formation, rotation of head and breaking of cross bridge is taking place, we have discussed here. Fine. Now we will move to the another point. Here it's written what, this pulls the attached actin filament toward the center of A band. So basically what happened with the sliding of the head of the myosin, what we are seeing, the actin filament that is attached is pulled toward the center of A band. The jet line attached to these actins are also pulled inward, thereby causing a shortening of sarcomere. So what is happening with the jet line? It is just contracting. Okay, so we will underline this point with the sliding action. The jet line attached to these actins are also pulled inward, causing the shortening of sarcomere, that is contraction. It is clear from the above step that during shortening of muscle, that is contraction, the I band get reduced. Okay, now what we are seeing, jet line is also pulling inward and the shortening of sarcomere take place. Again, the I band is getting reduced from here. So we will underline this point also. The I band getting reduced, whereas the A band retained the length. So what we are seeing here, it is being pulled toward the center of the A band, but the A band is remaining same as the normal length what they have. Okay, the myosin releasing the ADP and PI goes back to its relaxed state. Now what we have seen, after the rotation, the myosin releasing the ADP and PI, that means what we can say, again they will turn into a ATP state and the cross bridge is broken. Okay, the ATP is again hydrolyzed by the myosin head and the cycle of cross bridge formation takes place. So this cycle is getting repeated whenever there is a movement is required there. Okay, now this is the structure of the sliding filament theory of muscle contraction. What they have given, A band just remain in the length, jet band is just shortening of the sarcomere, and I band is getting reduced to its length. Okay, and then what happened, the contraction will take place, and with the relaxed state, again this ADP plus PI form get converted into ATP. Okay, then what it's written here, and breakage is repeated causing further sliding. The process continues till the calcium ions are pumped back to the sarcoplasmic cisternae, resulting in the masking of actin filament. Okay, So when the calcium ion concentration was high, they will just bind to the myosin and then remove the masking there to expose the active site. But what happened? This calcium ion get reduced and get back to the sarcoplasmic cisternae. Then again they lead to what? Masking of the actin filament. Fine. This caused the return of Z line back to their original position. That means movement is taken place and the Z line again back to their original position. That means they will lead to relaxation here. Fine. So what we will write here? Return of J line back to the original position, that is relaxation. The reaction time of the fiber can vary in different muscles. Repeated activation of muscles can lead to accumulation of lactic acid due to anaerobic breakdown of glycogen in them, causing fatigue. So basically, this contraction and relaxation process taking place when our body need to contract and relax. But if the contraction and relaxation or muscle movement is taking place continuously, then what will happen? There will be the accumulation of lactic acid take place during the body is needing more and more energy. So in the there comes the anaerobic breakdown of the glycogen, and that will cause what? Fatigue condition. Okay, so this is all about this muscle movement and the relaxation condition. Then they have talked about muscle contain a red colored oxygen storing pigment called myoglobin. So this is about the muscle pigment which is called as myoglobin. We can also underline this part. And myoglobin content is high in some of the muscles which give a reddish appearance. So wherever the reddish appearance is present in the muscle, that means they have high content of myoglobin in them. Such muscles are called the red fiber. So we can underline all these points here. These muscles also contain plenty of mitochondria which can utilize the large amount of oxygen stored in them for ATP production. That means the muscles which need more and more energy, they have a large amount of mitochondria, because mitochondria is the storehouse of the cell. And if the muscle is requiring more and more energy, that means they have a high content of mitochondria, because the energy will be provided by mitochondria only. Okay, so we can underline this point also. Now it's written what? Okay, on the other hand, some of the muscle possess very less quantity of myoglobin and therefore appear pale or whitish. These are the white fiber. They have number of mitochondria less, but the amount of sarcoplasmic reticulum is high. They depend on anaerobic process for energy. So wherever less energy is required, they have white fibers more. That means less mitochondria. And wherever more energy is required, they have more mitochondria, and that will have more ATP production. Okay. Now, yes, we will see one of the PYQs here. In this, what written during muscular contraction, which of the following event occur? Okay. So the options given here are H zone disappear, A band widen, I band reduces in weight, myosin hydrolyze ATP, releasing the ADP plus PI. Z lines to actin are pulled inward. Okay, so currently we have studied what will happen. The Z zone disappear, then A band do not widen, it remain in the length, so it will be incorrect. I band reduces in width, so that is also correct. Z line to actin are pulled inward, that is also correct. That leads to what? A shortening of the sarcomere. And myosin hydrolyze ATP, releasing the ADP plus PI, that is also correct. So if we see the options A, C, D and E are correct, that means what? D option is correct here. Fine. Now see, here one thing it's written H zone disappear. So in the context what we have studied, it is not mentioned there. So let's see what happened with the H zone. Okay. See here, during muscle contraction, each sarcomere shortened, bringing the Z disc closer together. There is no change in the width of A band, but both I band and H zone are almost completely disappear. So that is why the H zone disappear. We have chosen the correct option there. Okay, so this H zone completely disappear, that is not directly present in that textbook. So I have added this context from the NCBI so that you can just have a clear vision regarding how the H zone disappears. So you have to remember what Z disc, what happened? They just lead to the sorting of the sarcomere. I band and H zone almost disappear, or I band you can say what? Reduce in length also. Okay, and the no change in the width of A band take place. So you can go through this point here. Now, if we see the second question, calcium is important in the skeletal muscle contraction because bind to troponin to remove the masking of active sites on actin for myosin. Okay, then activate the myosin ATPase by binding to it, detaches the myosin head from the actin filament, prevent formation of bond between the myosin cross bridges and the actin filament. So calcium is important. What? When the neurotransmitter provide the signal to the muscles, they start releasing what? Calcium. So calcium do what? Removing the masking of the active sites on actin for myosin. So basically the first option is going to be correct here, like it will bind to troponin to remove the masking of active sites on actin for myosin. Okay, so these two questions are related to the topic which we have discussed here. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. If you find any difficulty, you can just write in comment section.